There we go. Now everything's working. Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 15, Week 4. Today we're looking at Los Muertas, we're looking at Alch Capone, we got Randy with us, the Doctor of Dota.
Hello. Yes.
The most unbiased commentator we could have possibly gotten for this week. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting matchup here, because both of these teams are just kind of unquestionably on the back foot. Muertas had a very strong week 1, but have been really struggling to find their place since. Alch Capone has rarely found a place for themselves to begin with. Internal issues with the team and some strategy issues have led to the situation where they've got 2 wins on record, one's with a stand-in on their pause 1, and one's against a team that forfeited early game. Both teams are in a situation where something is going to have to change, and I think both teams realize that, and are going to be trying to do that. I at least have private assurances that both of these teams are going to be trying to do that this week, so there is that.
Radiant team pick.
Banning out the Riki, banning out the Trion, banning out the Tusk and the Axe is interesting. On Alch Capone's part, targeting that stand-in that just joined this lineup. It's kind of funny, it's almost very similar to what you would do against Muertas usually, because of the relatively shallow pool of turtles.
People run Tusk mid, right?
They do, but I'm pretty sure they banned that out because it's one of the few heroes in the Whimsical Dragon Pause 3 pool. I don't think Cheeseburger is a Tusk mid runner very frequently.
10 seconds
So,
remaining.
I'm sure it's in his pool, but I doubt they're thinking that much about it as a mid in this particular game. Picking up the Lina Pause 1, as we... So far, I believe the Lina Pause 1 has a grand total of 1 victory over the nearly every single game it's been running so far. See if we can change that a little bit here. Picking up the Clockwork as well. We've seen a lot of very successful Clockwork play, and it's one of the better Lina counters, so getting it out of the pool here is a good start for you. I know who I would have picked to respond to that, and it sure as hell ain't Mars.
It's that Mars combo classic, you know?
Yep. It would be a lot better if Snapfire wasn't like a 6 out of 10 and Mars wasn't like a 3.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hook shot still go through the arena wall?
I don't know. I haven't seen that that matchup.
If it does, then this is even worse than it sounds. It's already kind of bad. Mars Arena can really quickly get pretty messed up by the interference of gears. Though, on the other hand, Mars can also, on the occasion, use Clockwork gears against him, just spear him to the side of one of them, which is always a very awkward situation. Immediate silencer ban.
And they can delete Lina until BKB.
Yep.
Is that?
The only problem is that I just don't, like, Mars is just completely worthless when you get a BKB in the game. It just feels like he can't do anything, really. And Snapfire is not much better on that front.
10 seconds remaining.
So
Daedalus Mjolnir.
and they definitely have an opportunity here on Alch Capone to try and pick up some heroes that can really screw with that arena lineup. Like, you know, you could pick up something like, I don't know if they'd be willing to run it, but you could pick up something like a Necro and make arenas a really annoying prospect. You know, you have to make sure the Necro's not in the arena or nobody dies. You could pick up a Dazzle, and that way you're hedging your bets either way. It's going to be fine, and you know that's going to be in the Bohohoro lot of tricks. Muertas banning out the Pit Lord, which wouldn't have been a bad option here either. Not so much in the terms of making sure that Lina is going to survive the arena. He really doesn't help that much at that, outside of making the arena a pretty miserable place to be, though not for the people who, well, not for the Snapfire, who you really got to think about in this situation.
5 seconds.
But it is a pretty good Lina counter. It is a bit of a shame they didn't run it themselves, almost. Viper going down, the Spectre going down. It's interesting the way they picked Mars here. They really haven't banned out anybody I feel like that really affects him too badly. Feels like if you wanted to pick the Mars and you're not willing to ban out to protect it, maybe the idea would be to pick what you are banning out things to protect here instead. Vengeful Spirit coming up. Well, you know, like I said about the saving people from the arena thing, that is gonna really make getting Lena actually killed in those early arenas a hassle.
It's good. It's the second worst matchup in the bench.
It's also pretty good against the Snapfire. They're just building more into the arena. I really gotta question that on the Muertas. We already have one hero that can just completely ruin an arena for you. I like the Tiny though. The Tiny is pretty good against all these characters so far. Brief interruption there. That was not your PC or this video, that's just what happens when I tap back into Dota. Mickle getting rid of the Drow Ranger there.
Yeah, every single hero in the game so far has a disable. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's true.
Radiant team ban.
Okay, never
And
mind.
we've lost one.
Let's just get a silence as a disable.
That's a very interesting pick here, actually. I feel like this is a high execution idea, which has been trouble for Alch Capone before. I think they have had trouble with these big execution idea concepts. But the good news is that for the DP, it's like if she is able to do what she wants to do during a fight, she can easily like make arenas just not happen. Mars is not going to want to put down an arena when he can't blink, when he can't get close to you, when he just dies if he tries. You know, it's going to suck trying to do your combos with the Lich or with the Tiny whenever you have that prospect of getting randomly silenced. If the ults and the silences are good on the DP, this can be real trouble for Muertas. Or she can just take bullets for Lena, which would also be pretty much a win for them. But if we just kind of get the generic gameplay of like the silence is an afterthought, you just kind of randomly drop it, the ult is just for killing towers, then we might have a few problems with this pick. Both teams looking at mid for their final selection. It's also very interesting to me that Muertas secured first pick, knocked out two of the most classic first picks, including the Treant Protector, which they have had very good work with in the past, and then first pick the Snapfire. That's a bit interesting strategy. Muertas won the coin toss for the record.
Yeah, they did.
I think in an ideal world, I think right now, the Treant Protector is the better Mars. I think I would have just picked the tree and just throw Mars in the dumpster. But that's just me. Because nothing about this team is worse with the Treant in that place. Arguably, it's got more upside. You probably don't want to pick the Lich, don't get me wrong, but a non-Mars 3 is almost always going to be a better option for you right now if you can handle it. You know, like I said before, take one hero out of the equation, and Bristleback's win rate goes over 50%. Take, really, I guess it's, to be fair, two heroes out of the equation, Mars win rate goes below 40, and neither of those heroes are here today. Both of them are banned.
Dire team ban.
Handing out the Kunkka, which is very interesting.
Radiant team.
Muertas still seems to be a Kunkka believer, even though it didn't really work out for them last time. Or looter lunchboxes last time. Or anybody really last time. I know you're not a fan of the Kunkka right now, in any case. Yeah, your opinion on Kunkka is very much the same as my opinion on Mars.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Finally, we got Earth Spirit!
Alright.
I did not expect to see that. That's going to be a mid-Earth Spirit too, more than likely. Well, Cheeseburger, I guess, took the advice that I gave at the end of the last video, which is to try and get a more solid core of mids rather than trying to play something different every match, and wiped his ass with it, I guess.
Remaining.
I do hypothetically like a lot of the things about the Earth Spirit in this game. I think he's pretty good against all the guys here so far, except the VS to a degree, because she's just not going to be positioning herself in a way where you're going to be able to affect her. I just don't know what you get with a Mars and Earth Spirit combo. Like, I don't know. It just seems like Earth Spirit is at his best when trying to stop escapes, and Mars does that way better. You're not going to have a disorganized retreat from a game with a Mars in it.
I don't know much about Spirit. I don't see him that often.
Damn.
Probably the hero that I see the least out of any heroes. Especially don't know anything about Core or Spirit. So
Yeah, I
we'll see.
mean, I really don't get it here so far. Maybe he has some sort of brilliant plan. But I just don't really think he vibes too much with this lineup. Like, Earth Spirit, especially in a core situation, is best in lineups that, like, the enemy is going to be positioned in the opposite way that they optimally are for the Muertas lineup. Bat Rider coming out in response, okay. Do I like the Bat Rider? I don't think so. This is a... Either this is a pause one Death Prophet or Mickle wants to run mid today. It could be Mickle's running mid.
Just kind of play Lina. Like,
yeah. Could be that Mickle's running mid today because Kai steadfastly refuses to pick this Death Prophet hero. I tried to get him to do it in Season 13, he just wouldn't. But yeah, I don't know about the Bat Rider. I just don't really see why. It doesn't really help you in any of these team fights, and nobody on your team really benefits that much from the lasso. Lena kinda does. But everything Lena would get, you get with a Clockwork anyway, and nothing answered that, so, like, why are we doing this, you know? I don't know. Very
it's
redundant.
A tiny counter.
What?
It's a tiny counter.
I mean...
Everything that Tiny wants to do in a fight can be super disrupted with if he gets lassoed.
That's true, but I feel like the exact same thing can also be said if Tiny gets hookshot and then put into gear jail.
Sure.
Or if he gets flared.
We'll have multiple sources.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, if there is one thing, I guess you could say that the Tiny is going to be unquestionably the biggest problem on that lineup. It's going to be very big shoes to fill for Cheeseburger in this game, that's for sure.
Prepare for battle.
Cheeseburger, by the way, appears to be going pause 1, or maybe Davi going mid, or I don't know.
They're all running mid right
They're
now.
all running mid, yeah. It's impossible to tell at the moment, but I don't think Davi is going to be doing pause 1 Earth Spirit. I don't think he's lost his mind quite that badly. I know last week didn't go well, but I don't think it went that badly.
What happened?
Maybe Devirez is finally getting his...
Wood.
Maybe Devirez is getting his opportunity to play that pause 4 Earth Spirit that he's always wanted to do.
Yeah, he has the calling wood. So.
Hey, you can get Quelling Blade on pause 4 if it'll help you cut down the Furion trees and escape. By the way, for those of you at home, apologies for the issue where the game keeps cutting for a second whenever I hit G to talk. That, I don't know what causes that. I will be...
It's also queuing Radiance, it looks like. Very nice. Very interesting.
This is what everyone wants to see during a cast, right?
Oh, Davi queuing Radiance or Spirit? Yeah, that's what I want to see.
No, me dicking with the voice settings. There we go. Open mic. So I know it's no longer going to be a problem in game. Unfortunately, those of you who are listening to our cast version of this, you know, the in-game replay client will now hear me breathing and making weird mouth noises. 2 for 2 on the rune spots. Lich looking like a bit of trouble here. Did not expect Lich to be going a support, because Whimsical Dragon is standing in for their usual pause 3 here. Kai is positioning himself like he's going to be the one this game, and indeed he is TPing to top, so... Interesting.
What I expected. I don't think you run DP1.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a permanent thing, or if this is just going to be, Mickle wanted to run the Death Prophet this game, and Kai just refused.
I'm guessing it's because they picked Lina, like, and Kai is a better Lina.
Mickle Flander going live in this game.
I mean, it's like his main hero. I don't know. You want me to tell you?
Well, this is interesting because both teams had these team. Oh my God! It's Pause One Earth Spirit. What
Really?
am I watching?
I was on Radiant Earth Spirit.
Oh, buddy. Delira is making a big show of himself for the cameras here. Oh, and First Blood has already happened.
That's the Batrider classic right there.
Yep.
You stack napalms on your enemy, and then you just run him over at level 2, and he dies.
And poor Tiny almost got it too. Meth walked away from this lane with like 20 HP left. By the way, Meth is mid, not Pause 3 here. We've actually just completely screwed with the lanes here on Alch Capone compared to what they traditionally run. Which unfortunately is not going to be good for Mickle, who's just going to get clobbered there. So I guess I'll just call everybody for what their full-time roles are on this team and just amend that with what they're doing today. So for the Los Muertas lineup, Pause 1, you've got Devirez, who is inexplicably on Earth Spirit. Pause 2, you've got Clockwork getting killed. How many kills are going to happen when I'm not looking? Pause 2, you've got Cheeseburger, captain of the team, currently on the Tiny. Pause 3, you've got Space Cowboy. Well, actually, he's usually the Pause 4, but today he's Pause 3 on the Mars. Pause 4, you've got Giraffe, usually the Pause 5. Today the Pause 4 on the Snapfire. And Pause 5, standing in for Turtles, you have Whimsical Dragon, who's got a name like one of the generic default teams you would get in LD2L, or like a default name you get in a Hyper Beam or something. On the Lich. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin for Alch Capone. Pause 1, you've got Kai, usually the mid, on the Lena. Pause 2, you've got Meph, usually the Pause 3, on the Batrider. Pause 3, you've got Mickle, usually the Pause 1, captain of the team, on the Death Prophet. And nice. Pause 3, Mickle, and like I was about to say, one thing I realized recently is that if Mickle is full-time moving to Pause 3, he's going to be the first captain in 3 seasons that's Pause 3 captain. Ooh, Whimsical Dragon, Lich is dead. Just gets barely eaten at the edge of the range for the Vengeful Spirit, and Meth kills Cheeseburger again. Rest in peace.
Insane, these Mickle lanes. Like, they have 3 lanes that just run at you, passing spells as you die. It's like the most aggro lane phase I've ever seen.
Yeah, they want to get very aggressive here. And so far, it's mixed results, as the lineup is 3-4. The one notable thing is that Lena is top of the board for last hits right now, which is probably good. Especially considering, I mean, she's up against a hero that is Earth Spirit, as far as the Pause ones go. I mean, I guess they can get away with it because they do have the Tiny mid. Ooh, good body block on Vengeful Spirit's part, just barely letting Death Prophet get out of there. Vengeful turns around, probably wishes she hadn't done that, and is now just kind of awkwardly sitting in lane at like no HP.
Just got a little bit of a unfortunate dive there.
Yeah, I really don't understand what the strategy was for Mars in that. This is not really going to be a lane where you're going to be able to get away with aggressive maneuvers like that without the presence of Snapfire.
That's all I say.
Speaking of Snapfire, I'm pretty hammered here, but gonna be fine. Lena is out of salves. I was going to have to get most of this HP bar back on Tangos. Good news being, at the very least, she's got a pretty low HP bar, so you can just get that back easily. Man, is this some crazy thing? Like, I'm definitely gonna get... I just get this funny feeling in the back of my mind that, like, some random dudes just did this at DPC with a 100% win rate somehow, and, well, like, that's why we're having the Earth Spirit puzzle on today, you know what I mean?
Wait, it's not something I've heard.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't see what the possible upside is.
Earth Spirit Radiance.
Yeah, Russian Radiance. I'm assuming it's just got a very high win rate against Lena in particular, and he's just going to try and run it specifically to run at Kai. Because in fairness, Kai is pretty much the only... Well, Tiny's dead again. Kai is pretty much the only real core they have on this lineup either. Death Prophet doesn't scale, and Bat Rider kind of scales, but he's not like an in-game classic, I think, by any
Kind of
definition.
seeing in action here why Tiny is so bad into Bat. Just doesn't do anything to the hero and dies.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Poor Cheeseburger. I don't think Cheeseburger has won a lane since week 1. And even then, he got half of it.
Nice, Cogs.
Guy getting run at here. He's gonna get the Space Cowboy, at least before he dies. Uh-oh, Giraffe! Double
What a
kill for
godly
Lena.
Cogs.
Wasn't too great.
Great show there by Geistonly. By the way, he's usually their pause 4. I don't think I called him out during the lineup. He's usually the pause 4 power.
Social media. Oh, Mickle.
Death Prophet once again in a pretty hairy spot.
I'm not quite sure they have the damage for this.
Yeah, the damage gap is pretty bad. Gonna be struggling to deal much at all until these heroes hit 6. Though in contrast, I don't know how you kill either of these guys. They just have magic stake in the safe lane, so bit of an awkward situation in general here by Space Cap.
Alright. Deleted by level 6 Lena. It happens.
There was a time when this game was 3-4, now it's 3-9. Cheeseburger lineup definitely has to start 3-10, 3-11.
Oh my.
Rotation at
Tiny
mid. They
hero.
both die.
This tiny hero is so bad in the bat, it's actually incredible.
This is not looking good. Cheeseburger lineup has to think about what the hell we're gonna do next, or else they're just gonna get completely run over here. I know Alch Capone has been kind of a whipping boy so far in this season, but you gotta remember, these guys are not jabronis by any regard. Last time Meph went mid, he was beating Reedy in FHDL. Alright? Like, you can't sneeze on that. Mickle's one of the best players in this league, period. You can't sneeze on that. Kai, on one of his best heroes, in his best position, you can't sneeze on that, you know? He might get the bat here. They do have the Giraffe around. Yep, they are, and he's gonna waste Lasso too, which is very unfortunate for him. So there is that.
It's kind of the thing. Tiny now can do things with rotations because this hero does a lot of damage later on that Bat isn't necessarily equipped to handle.
Yeah, I mean, Bat Rider, if you've been looking, has been barely surviving all these exchanges anyway. I think one of the big things is that, okay, goodbye Space Cowboy.
Guy is just feasting on the Mars right now.
Average Mars game.
Like using Laguna off cooldown to kill him repeatedly.
Mars right now 1-5. All he has is his name is Slow Ring.
Has the bot lane.
Mickle and Pohoro getting pretty buried here. Oh, the cogs just slightly off of what they wanted to be, but I don't think it matters. Earth Spirit is dead in the end.
I think he just wanted to be there as quickly as possible, so he hooked Mickle to
Dire's
run in for
bottom
the
tower is under attack.
battery assault.
True. Would have looked cooler if he just had the hook shot come from off screen, just assassinate him though. One of the big unfortunate things about that rotation from Tiny though is that even though he did reverse the momentum to a pretty good degree, and he is actually keeping rough pace with Bat Rider as far as the last hits go. Likely dropping frames here. Please give us no mind. This won't be appearing on the recorded version of this video. But even though the Tiny here is in a situation where he does have a place to come back, he is also facing Bat Rider, who gets to be full health and mana for the first time in a very long time in lane phase, which has to make actually dealing with him kind of a daunting prospect. Earth Spirit is like stacking the hell out of a camp up here. If Dire just takes it with Mickle's first ult, this could be a lot of money for him. Appear to be thinking about using that ult for something else. A bit of a swing and a miss there.
Top tower is under attack.
Oh,
Radiant's
mesh.
bottom tower is under attack.
Never mind,
That's
swinging ahead.
crawling.
Why did
Does
that
that firefly,
lasso?
though?
That lasso felt like it lasted like a half
Radiant's
second.
bottom
What's that?
tower is under attack.
It's only 2.5 at level 1. Ultimately, no kill on the virus, but I don't know how that important that is when your Lina is still farming and Tiny really isn't so much.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Kai's actually going mid now. He's actually almost on level parity with the Tiny here, which is a little sad. Bot T1 getting smashed to bits. Getting a little surprised Mickle didn't take the big stack there. Radiant's going to try to use offensive glyph to force their way out on this tower here, as well as defend their T1 mid to a degree. Bat Rider is up top now because he heard there's free kills. If there's anything Meth wants, it's not to have a really low KDA at the end of the game. Unfortunately, without the lasso off cooldown, he can't do anything to start Mars from just TPing away.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, luckily for him, this is basically as free he gets in the safe lane for a few minutes, so at least he gets to farm that up. Take a look at the net worth chart here. No big surprises on the board right now, except for maybe Tiny's actually doing a little better than you might expect. He is in 3rd place overall and only 1,000 gold down from number 1 in Lina. Brief interruption there. That was actually in my game. I believe that might have been a lobby-related issue.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh.
I wonder why you said that.
Mesh has a haste bottled. Pretty deadly.
Yeah, haste bottled, lasso up in 4. Here comes the Snapple. It's going to delete the Vengeful Spirit, but that's all it does. They're still in danger. Maybe bigger than they realize. Bringing something in on Courier. She's not going to get fast enough because he called in. Ooh. Okay. That's an interesting little series of events here. He's going to take Pohohoro and get annihilated by the by everybody, actually.
We took Dragon, not the Hohoro, but
Oh yeah,
whimsical dragon, not normal dragon.
true. Yeah, he's drumming now. Oh, that was an awkward play on Mef's part. I don't think there was any real reason to believe that he was walking into 4 there, in fairness. It was a very odd movement on the Cheeseburger team's part, but it did actually work out in their favor. I like this Pohohoro just swapping out Cheeseburger to try and deny the last hit on the tower. Fortunately for her, it doesn't quite work out that way, but fortunately for her, it's going to buy enough time for everybody to show up and just murder everybody. Kai on a mega kill streak, 5-0-3.
Yeah, they have Lina problems.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I understand the point of the Earth Spirit Pause 1 was probably to just specifically run over Lina, but at this point it's starting to look a little questionable if Earth Spirit is ever going to get to the point where he can even get close to her. Like, if Lina just gets BKB before the first time the two meet and she's really close to that, then I really don't know what he does this game. In particular, it's like, Lina is going to get BKB before the first arena that falls on her. Lina is going to get BKB before the first time she has an interaction with Ember Spirit, or the first time she has anything that looks like a fair fight with Tiny. One-man arena on the Death Prophet here, 5 close to try and smack Mickle. They do successfully do that. But
I think if you're behind any kill on a core is worth it.
they're in a position now where the support line here is, yep, looking at getting some revenge going on. If you have artillery barrage on the clockwork, Tiny actually had to start getting back because Kai showed up, but he just couldn't quite get the kill in time. Tiny did survive that. Kai having a bit of a tough go getting through all the CC that the enemy team has in that exchange. Which the BKB is going to change on that. Ultimately, I believe, yes, that was quite a big gold change out for the favor of the Radiant, though I believe most of the gold, unfortunately, did go to Radiant's support line. That's better than no gold at all.
Radiant are scanning.
Radiant scanning out top T1. Finding Geistinly here. Geistinly thought this was not going to be 5 people here. I don't know what to tell him. Luckily, Kai is just going to scratch Marth's back, kill him. But he's going to die!
That is a sick magnetize.
Nev is in. Gets the Lich at the back line. He's actually kind of in danger just cleaning up here. But he just doesn't have the tankiness for it, and unfortunately DP with ult is somewhere else. I don't know if I can condone that.
Dire's top tower is falling.
Feel like if DP just TP's in on that. It's a very different fight.
He has CP on cooldown, but I'm sure he could have. I don't know when he used it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It might have been before the fight started.
I guess that's potentially possible. Still, he had enough time to go, what I assume is all the way from spawn down to the equivalent point in mid where you would have been like in the fight and save lane, so I don't know. I guess it's better safe, you know, you don't know if the fight's still going to be going when you get there, you know the creeps are still going to be at mid at least. Maybe it's a bit of that puzzle and player mentality going on, who knows. Pahara steadfastly guarding this double damage rune. No core is even in the same zip code as it though, so down it goes. Lena just got a Brigand's Blade as if she wasn't bad enough this game.
Also has BKB finish.
Yep. 4-man smoke on the Radiant. 2 puzzles are about to meet each other here. Lena going to try and go for the virus, but just can't quite. Okay, maybe can kill him in time actually.
Arena onto Meth and deletes him as well.
Clockwork's gonna walk into the entire lineup here. Meth is gonna buy for this.
A little saucy, let's see.
He has travels.
I think Kai has a cover. I don't think it's necessary, but.
Yep, they don't. The Batrider actually does not make it in time to actually do anything in the fight. I do understand the play at least.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, it's going to certainly make this push here on this bot T2 pretty hard for Radiant to deal with. 5k gold advantage only though, which is a bit interesting. G-Rav is just going to saturate the area with artillery. Mickle really getting hit there.
Yeah,
Meth definitely doesn't want to take a death on this Batrider, but Space Cowboy probably didn't want to take this death either.
Cool. Nice swap.
Good swap, but it just doesn't matter, unfortunately.
That lich bursts.
Yeah, they really have problems fighting when
Radiant's
Lena isn't
middle tower
present.
is under attack.
And that did give Earth Spirit enough money to finish up that Radiance, so she's going to be very much needing the...
Radiant's courier has been
Oh,
killed.
never mind. The courier with the entire Radiance on it died.
That is really sad. But I think, judging by the last 5v5, they also have problems fighting with Lena if Davi is there.
Well, they have problems fighting with Lena if Davi is there and she doesn't have
Yeah.
BKB up, but unfortunately, that problem is past tense now. I think the bigger problem is that I feel like there are some positioning issues with this lineup so far, like with the DP, as mentioned up at the top. You know, it does feel like so far DP has been having trouble, like, figuring out when, where, why to silence, which is not helping her case much in this game. Like, the Earth Spirit does not have BKB, and he's not going to get it for a million years, and he does literally nothing if he's not casting spells, so, like, why not just get rid of that? If he's not around, why not get rid of the Mars or the Tiny, who are going to be standing on each other's toes anyway, you know?
No, Mortimer, it's not playtime.
Meph pushing Philip.
Not that sort.
Lay eyes on Meth up here.
Yeah, Meph is so far just completely oblivious to this, but he's just gonna hit BKB and not leave. What are you doing, Meph? He's gonna hit BKB and get. Oh, this is why, because Lena has an approach.
Biggest ape by my Meth.
I thought he'd lost his mind for a second there. 9-second BKB out on Lena used to tank out the Lich ult and just kill everybody.
Yeah. Davi's not here, therefore Lena eats her entire team.
Yep. And even if Davi was here, I don't know what you do against the 9-second, especially BKB, aside from just look at it and leave.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Bot T2 going down to solo Death Prophet, who's going to try and TP out after that. And then just going to murder the hell out of Davi, okay. Well, this is messed up.
Going on a DP with ult is more difficult than it looks like, apparently.
Well, this is sad.
Nice spear. Saves Mars' life there. Essentially. He blinks away.
Yep, he's fine. DP throws the bats, it's way too late.
Money to burn.
Definitely think about investing in a yield at some point soon. She is investing in a Pipe of Insight, which is going to really hurt this lineup, actually. A lot of their... In fact, basically all of this team's damage until Tiny gets really scary is going to be magic damage. More or less. So getting a Pipe of Insight is going to be a pretty massive detriment to their ability to exist.
Meth continuing to hunt Cheeseburger.
Yep, still making himself as much of a problem for him as possible. We have finally crossed over the net worth boundary into the 10k line. Lena, by the way, has finished this bleed here. Death Prophet now queuing up a BKB just to make the enemy team cry, I guess. I actually feel like it might be a bit redundant here. Like, yeah, on one hand, sure, you know, she's not gonna die to Arena again, but on the other hand, I think you actually want to let the enemy team credibly think that's a possibility. I really don't understand what Davi was thinking here. Just gets annihilated. Bat Rider does get a little awkwardly found in this lineup here. It's probably fine. Cheeseburger is looking real bad. Yep, he's going down. Have very low health in that Spirit Vessel on him.
Why is Lich backlining?
I don't know.
Weird
Well, the answer is because that's originally where Tiny was and he died. Well, he left and then he died.
No, I'm not even playing, I'm just saying it's strange.
Yeah, that was just kind of an uncoordinated fight, I think. Like, there were two different front lines that Muertas tried to establish there, and Lich just happened to be on one of them. Kai takes the Aegis. We have a weird issue there. Maybe I should have restarted my PC before I started this game, who knows?
Guys says, well, he was sniffing the back lines there, but the blink away.
That time I know why that happened, because I alt-tabbed out. Man, this is gonna be really big. DB sitting there wishing to God she had ulted. Maybe? Yeah, definitely. Like, there is so much that could have in this fight. No, I guess she didn't need it after all.
They're all dying anyway. I don't think it matters.
Kai godlike.
And now he can ult for this tier 3. It's pretty good holding the ult there actually.
Yeah, I really looked for a second like literally nothing was going to happen in that fight for Dai, and they're just all going to walk away, but then just suddenly all the damage came out. Really don't know what Cheeseburger thinks he's doing. His team is going to bail him out though. Really don't know what Cheeseburger thinks he's doing. This time his team is not going to bail him out. Everybody who shows up to this just dies. No buyback on the supports. Buyback on the supports. Swap there on the Mars.
Give him the rampage, Davi. Yes!
Yeah, Davi came here just to give Lena a high five. The funniest thing in the world would be if somebody just...
He's attacking too slow. Okay, there you go.
We go. Giraffe calls the first letter of his name twice, and we're going home.
The solid sportsmanship. You know, give
I know,
advantage.
Dobby. I was so hoping somebody was gonna get in there and mess that up. Kai gets his rampage, I believe, first in the season. Alch Capone victory. We're going home. I mean, that just really, I think that really highlights some of the weaknesses in the Cheeseburger team's game plan and the Muertas game plan. You had some pretty uncoordinated fights, some combos that just really didn't feel like they knew what to do with. They had some good ideas, you know, trying to operate as the 5-man gank squad for most of the early part of the mid-game did work out for them, but like their draft was just like, if you hit BKB, you're invincible. All 3 cores were about to finish BKB at the end of that game. If it went on, what would they have done, even possibly, you know? Well, as I thought, it turns out this Ember Spirit Pause 1 thing is not the future after all. Let's see what happens next time.
Ember Spirit Pause 1's a real thing. Earth Spirit
Earth
Pause 1's
Spirit,
not.
yeah. Sorry to all the Ember Spirit Pause 1 aficionados.